What's going on, YouTube? This is Deke, and it's a sad day. This is our last part of our Wonder Kids that are bargains series that I've been doing. This is the last video, and we're talking about strikers today. So these guys are all pretty much bargain. The striker position is more expensive than other positions. So I have some younger guys that I think can be pretty good investments in the future. We have one more established guy, as you can see here, and we'll go through each one of those to come with the 5. I own 3 of these. These are definitely not financial advice, but these are just what I am thinking. So in the comments, if you have another striker that you think should be on this list that I missed, there's a ton that I didn't include, but these are just 5 that I like. So let's get right into it. So Jonathan Burkhardt is the first guy. So he is at Mainz in the Bundesliga. He had 32 starts with 11 60-plus scores. His going price right now is 78 euros, 0.0707. ETH, I did just pick him up today earlier. So, as you can see here, very promising. He does get your goals whenever you need them. He seems to be staying at Mainz. I think that's a really good thing at this point in his career. He is, let's see, in 4 days at the time of recording, he is turning 22. So he's getting into that prime, making some big moves as a striker. He's featured in the under 21 Germany team, and he was actually the captain of that team last year. I like him. I think that price could get a little bit more expensive as the years goes on. Mainz just missed out on European football. If he plays well, he'll push for that. I just want to take a look at this stretch really quick. As you can see here, after coming off the bench, he had 64, 98, 66, 47, 68. So a really nice set of results there. He has that upside, and for that price, I think that's a nice exposure to the Bundesliga. Number 2, Thiago Tomas out of Stuttgart. So he is on loan at Stuttgart. He's from Sporting. He had a 6-month loan last year for a total of 18 months. He will be at Stuttgart all season this year. So he came over at the January trade deadline. January deadline. He helped Stuttgart stay up, which was awesome. And he did speak out that he really wanted to keep them up and wasn't really too concerned about the loan, how long it would be, based on that they agreed to 18 months. He wants to be at Stuttgart, even though it's a loan. You love to see that. I did just buy him as well. I really think that he can build on the season that he had last year. He's a starter every single time. After being, a sub the first time, came off the bench, he played every other game. This is going to be your starter up top. He did play Cam the one time scored. He had 4 goals last season. I really think he can improve on that number. And if Stuttgart are going to stay up again and stay out of that relegation battle, I think he's going to be a good part of it. Again, he is a Sporting player, but he wasn't seeing that first team kind of looks. He was a sub a lot last year before he got into that game time. I think he can round into some serious form, and his price is reasonable for a striker. 0.044 is the floor. I like what he can do, and then if he impresses, maybe he does get a chance at Sporting in a good situation as well. Third guy, Adam, either Gregor or Greger, from LASK in the Austrian Bundesliga. So this kid is 18, just turned 18 in March. He is extremely cheap, 6 euros. And this is a guy that I really think, it's a long-term kind of thing. You're going to stash him away and not worry about him for maybe a year, maybe 2, maybe 3 even. But again, I'm longing this game. I really think that he has the upside to be impressive long-term when he breaks into the squad. So he has had 1 sub. Again, he was a 17-year-old last year. So you're not expecting too much out of him. This year, maybe he can get a bigger role involved. But we'll see kind of how that goes. He did play for Slovakia at the under 19 Euros. He did score a goal. I believe their team only scored one goal, but he was the scorer involved in that. So he is in that youth setup. He will be working his way through the ranks. And since he plays for Slovakia, he will have that international once he gets to the higher levels that also can play into his game week. So another guy that I like, again, not financial advice, but this is a long term. If you don't want to basically throw away €6 for the time being, don't do it. But I'm basically throwing away €6, and in 2 years, I would be really surprised if it's still €6. So that's kind of my thinking there. The last two guys I do not own, but they are definitely on my radar. So the first one is Yanis Antiste for Spezia in Serie A. 19 years old. He is turning 20 August 17th. If you take a look, he is €22, 0.0205. He started the first 8 of 9 matches this year. If you take a look here. So he did start, and then he was moved to the bench. So Spezia did stay up. He will be in the lineup. Coming off the bench, you don't love to see all of that. That's kind of why I didn't buy. But as you can see at the end of the year, he did get another start. So a year older. He has a nice juicy matchup out the gate if they do start him. And that rare, I wouldn't buy him as a rare just because I'm looking for, if I'm making a risky play, I'm just going to do it at the limited level. If you profit from players, that's great, but the risk is definitely mitigated whenever you do that. So he's a guy that I think could make a jump this year. Spezia is not a team that is going to score a ton of goals, although they did 4-3, 3-2 win. So, it's not a top side in Italy, but I think this is a guy that can build off what he did last year. One extra, a lot of these guys are on this list, but he was on the Golden Boy Top 100 ballot, which a lot of these guys are, but that kind of surprised me, kind of out of nowhere. That makes him definitely on people's radars, so I definitely had to include him in my 5 guys here. Then it brings us to our last one. This is Benjamin Nygren out of Nordsjælland, I believe, in Denmark, the Superliga there. So this kid is 20. He actually turns 21 here. I'm recording this on the 6th. His birthday's tomorrow. So he is 0.0142. I've not bought him yet. But if you take a look here, this is a guy that you can get some Denmark exposure. I don't have a single Denmark player in my club, but I kind of want to spread out a little bit so that, at least at a limited level, I have some from each league. They were in the relegation, so how the league works is the top half go to the championship group, the bottom half go to the relegation group. Last year, his team were in the relegation group, but they are staying up. He started, if you can see here, 11 games, 18 subs over the last season. He was a regular in the lineup. Didn't really go 90. He did 90 in the last game. He did 90 there, and he did have a goal. So his scores weren't great, but I really think that, especially at that team, he can make an impact this season. And it's a really cheap entry, Whenever he was starting, if we just kind of sort it to just starting, 43.6 average, that's not ideal. But, if you take a look at his L15, he could be a kid that you could throw into one of your specialists or underdog lineups with, a good matchup. Maybe Brøndby away gave up a lot of scores, but home here maybe, Viborg, if he's starting out the gate. So that's going to be a guy that I'm watching. I'm not going to get into him right away. I will kind of wait for a performance or to see if he's starting out the gate. But that is my 5. I tried to go with 5 guys that really aren't on everyone's radar. And hopefully this entire series has been good to you. If you followed along all the way, I appreciate you watching the entire time. Just leave a like, maybe subscribe. This isn't going to be the end of the content. This is just the end of this series. I put these all in a playlist, so if you missed any, you can take a look at any of those videos. My next series, I'll come out with something kind of different that is going to lead up to European football so that we are prepared for whatever game week that is. And I'm satisfied with MLS and kind of like the Brazilian leagues and everything like that, but European football is just different. I am from the U.S. The MLS is nothing like European football. I'm ready for European football. I hope you guys are too. Thanks for watching, and we'll check you out next time.